in between. Okay, sir.
And also disable that annotation for by others.
Okay.
Okay, you can start. Unmute, I think.
Hello guys. Today I'm going to explain you how to do supervised learning algorithm, that is classification and regression in machine learning. First we need to import all the libraries needed.
Before that, can you go to the projects list? Right,
Okay,
just let's talk about that. There are like 6 projects, right? So, what is it all about? Like, go with each project and try to explain what is the abstraction and what is the input, what is the output.
okay. Sir. At first we have divided the projects list into three beginner into three categories: beginner, moderate, and expert. Now at every level we have explained three technologies like NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib as basic data science manipulation tools, and regression and classification as supervised learning algorithms. Now in beginner, moderate, and expert all have a common NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib module, and remaining two regression and classification varies based on the based on the level. At first, I'll explain what are the projects in basic level.
Can you share that screen?
Yes. Okay. Uh, at first, what we do in module one. Module one related to pandas, NumPy, and Matplotlib, right? First few questions related to pandas, right? How to import the data set and analyzing the data set using head, tail, and describe functions. As we know, head gives the top 5 rows. Tail will give the bottommost
Yeah,
5 rows.
your screen is not shared with that list of projects. Can you go to that list of projects in Excel?
Yes, sir. Is it visible now?
No, it is still showing collapse.
Wait a minute.
Try to take a screen, like, share your screen, not the application.
Now,
Oh, okay, yeah, now we can.
yeah, okay. Again, I'll say. Basically, our projects are divided into three modules like beginner, moderate, and expert. In all, in all three categories, we divided the each category into three modules like NumPy, Pandas, and Matplotlib, and regression and classification. At first, I'll show now I'll say what are the exercises we'll do in NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib in each category. Yeah, we'll go. Yeah, first in basic, in every in each category, we do manipulations and analyzing the data set using pandas, NumPy, and Matplotlib. At first, I'll start with basic one. In basic, first question about how to read the data file, how to read the CSV file and make into a data frame. We, as we know, we use pandas to use it, and here we used head, tail, and describe functions for analyzing the dataset. How we can analyze? Head is used to view the topmost 5 rows in any data frame. Tail is used to view bottommost 5 rows, and describe will see when you use the top, we'll get top 5 rows like this. When we use tail, we'll get a bottommost 5 rows. When we use describe function, we'll get attributes like this. Count means how many in previous close column, how many values are there. Mean represents the mean value for the previous close column. STD refers to standard deviation for the previous close column. Min refers to the minimum value in the previous close column, and 25%, 50%, 75%. How many? I would say, what is the 25% value of prev close? 50% value of the prev close, 75% value of the prev close, and max refers to the what is the maximum value in the prev close. Not only prev close, in each column we'll get the output. Next, coming to the second question, calculate the minimum, maximum, and mean price for the column close price. You will see a column called close price here. No, in this whole module, we'll deal with the column called close price because it is a major factor which contribute the profit or loss for any trader. Okay, we'll find a minimum, maximum, mean price exclusively. First, we import the data set. Import the data set, and we'll find the maximum, minimum, mean, and we'll get the outputs like mean, minimum, and maximum. Okay, here while doing the project, don't need to do the code from scratch. We build the code whatever needed. You just fill the columns wherever there is a start code comment and end code comment. Between that, you need to fill the code to successfully complete the project. You don't need to worry, no need to build from scratch. Already we build it. And while coming to the third question, a day per change means the percentage between the two consecutive days. It can be used using a simple method called percentage change, which is available in pandas. By writing a code here, none is you are seeing none. No, instead of none, when you implement the method PCT change, you can get the output. It's very simple to complete the project. Next, similarly, while we are analyzing or manipulating the time series data, you need to convert the every day. There is a column called date. We need to convert into a type called datetime 64 because when we didn't convert into datetime 64, it will be in a string type. So it is very difficult for the manipulations for drawing predictions and everything. So we need to convert the date column into datetime 64 when we are analyzing the any stock trader or anything related to dates. So in this question we will do this, and we are going to plot the entire frame according to the dates. Means at first 2017-07 we have a trades of 45 millions. From 2000 the date of 10th month 2017 will have like 40 millions like that. We'll draw the predictions, means close price versus dates regarding to how the trade went gone. By seeing the graph, you can say that during which months our profit is high uh, uh, or loss is or whether the company gets profit or loss like that. And stem plot is another plot. We'll say that it's a discrete series plot, means it will show it will clearly we can see the company rises and falls during that period. See, at first 2017 fifth month like that, it started here. and it went up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. It went to high like this. This will happen when the close price between the previous month and this month is very high. Means it's unpredicted thing. It's called as outliers in machine learning uh, terminology. These outliers leads to sometimes it is good, sometimes it is bad. Majorly it leads to bad predictions. So by drawing the stem plot, we can know what are the outliers, or where the profits are happen more or loss happen more, like this. And we'll see the next question. We'll plot the histogram. Histogram according to the day percent means actually histogram is nothing but we are visualizing our data, dividing into some bins, like that. Bins means baskets. So in 0 to 0 to minus 0.05 means I said the day percent means the consecutive 2 days change in price, no. So what is the number of days the day plus change is between 0 to minus 0.05 means minus here day percent minus if it is negative value, the closed price decreases as compared to previous day. If day percent is positive, we will get the profit. Means our today close price is greater than previous close day price. Like this we can draw the predictions. Means divide the number of days in which we will get the profits, in which day we will get loss, like this. Now in 1.7 we have two more modules in this basic category. Regression is a supervised learning algorithm where we're going to predict the values based on some columns. Here we used OHLC columns. Means OHLC means open price, high price, low price, closed price. When we see the data set, like we are importing here, we are going to predict the values of gold prices. Gold prices changes are regularly, in this machine learning model. In this module we are going to build a machine learning model which will predict the price of the gold on a particular day based on the last 2 years prices. Okay. First, in whichever model you build in machine learning, will have four major phases while writing the code. First, we'll import all the modules packages which we needed. At second one, we import the data set. And third, we divide the data set into what is it? Predicted variable and the predict variable which depends on, what I'll say, this is called dependent variable, and X is called as independent variables. Independent variables means it will not depend on any other. Y is a dependent variable which are going to predict. Means as we see, prices depend on today. Means gold price depends on previous prices, right? Open price, high price, low price, closed price on previous prices. Based on previous prices, today price of the gold will be. So that open, high, low, close will not depend on any other variable. They are independent. So we'll divide the data set into independent and dependent variables. Always in supervised learning algorithm, there should be at least one dependent variable such that we are going to predict that variable. In this data set, we divided the two predicted variables, dependent variables, non-dependent variable. Next, we are going to split the x and y. Means x, based on x will predict the y, no. So we divided the xy into four data frames, like x train, y train, x test, y test. We'll fit the model with x train, y train. Means we'll train the model according to the values of x train. For these values of x train, this would be the output regarding to the column in y train. So we will divide that train and test sets, and again we will import the model which is used for regression. Here I use we use linear regression for calculating the new price for the gold. Linear regression will be available in sklearn. Sklearn refers for scikit-learn dot linear model. We'll import linear regression module. After a linear regression, importing the linear regression module, we'll feed the module with the x train and y train, and predict the test data result using the y-test. Okay, and predict the data using the y-test. At last, why no? Using the regressor, we are going to the predict the values of the gold price. Here in this set of code, what we will do means we will fit the model. What will fit the regressor based on the X train and Y train. What is for suppose open price is 10, closed price is 20, low price is 10, high price means 30. If these are the columns, for respect to these columns, whenever these columns arise, there will be a fixed new price of the gold. Let us suppose 25. Whenever these prices arises, any other time in the data set, the machine learning model will show you that today gold price will be 25. So like this will fit the model. Fit is nothing but training the model with that particular data sets like X train and Y train, and will predict the new gold prices for suppose the gold value ranges from 2019 to 2020 till date. Tomorrow you need to predict means will give as x spread is equals to tomorrow's date, means tomorrow's date, and you'll predict using ynew. When you use regressor dot predict x spread, then you will automatically predict the today's gold price. Then similarly, when come to classification, it is also a supervised learning algorithm. Similarly, we have x and y data sets, that is dependent variables and independent variables. Now in this classification model, we are going we are going to say whether a particular person will buy our product or not based on our social network ad. Means we generally nowadays very popular way to get our product into customers is using social network ads or some television ads like that. No, today in this module we'll take the social network ads, in which we have 5 columns like user ID, gender, age, estimated salary of the user, and he purchased or not. If purchased, yes, or purchased no. In computer system we will know for S1 not purchased 0. Like by using these four are dependent variables, right? Based on the user, there will be user ID. For every user there will be a gender dependent on user, and age for respective to user, and estimated salary dedicated to each and every user, right? So these are independent variables. Where coming to purchased, purchase depend on these columns, right? So these are dependent variables, this is independent variable. So as said, then as what we did in regression, same. First we import the libraries what we need on packages. Okay, next we import the data set using pandas, pd.read csv. This is the module name, social network ads.csv. Then we'll divide the data sets, means dependent variables and independent variables. And this is future scaling. Without future scaling also we can develop the model, but if you do future scaling, we'll improve the performance of a classifier. What is meant by future scaling means uh, age suppose age value is between 20 to 2200, right? For a large value, someone will suppose if we say only for college students will have a range between 20 to 25, then no need to use future scaling. Suppose if we taken all employees range from 30 25 26 to 50 to 60, then means there is a large range between min value and max value. No, so in that cases, to improve the machine learning model, to improve the performance of the machine learning model, we use a future scaling, right? When future scaling means it will take a minimum value, maximum value. For minimum value it will give a value of 0, and maximum value it will give a value of 1. Between 1 and 0 it will fit the data set accordingly. If we have the minimum as 20 and maximum as 18, 20 has a value of 0. If suppose our age is 25, means it is between 0.005 or like that. For 80 we'll have the 1. So it will fit the data set according to that. And in next step, we are going to use a logistic regression model. Logistic regression model is again available in scikit-learn library. It's again a linear model. So you'll import from scikit-learn.linear model, and classifier is nothing but here use logistic regression, right? A logistic regression is a class. We'll use this class here, means we'll create an object for a logistic regression class, and we'll fit it with x train and y train as in regression. So our model is trained now. It's perfectly trained now. Now we need to predict the results, right? So we use a y-pred. Y-pred means predicted results using x test. We'll divide that train x into x and y into 4, right? X test, x train, y test, y train. No, so we'll predict the y values based on the y test values. And to know how much efficiency or how much accurately our model is, we in machine learning we have several parameters. Now we are going several parameters like accuracy, square, so accuracy, many things are there. Suppose mainly we use confusion matrix, right? Confusion matrix, we have confusion matrix is divided into is a 2 by 2 matrix. It will have positive means which are correctly predicted values and which are wrongly predicted values. Based on the confusion matrix, we can say our performance of the machine learning model, whether it is of accuracy 80%, 70%, 60%. Generally, for every machine learning model, a 70% accuracy is a moderate machine learning model, means moderate evaluation of the machine learning model. As the data set increases, generally the machine learning model fits well, and our accuracy values goes on increasing as our data increases. So now beginner model has been completed, right? Now I'm going to explain moderate level projects. And same in moderate level also, our first module is same, means our pandas, matplotlib, and numpy calculations are same. Only it differs in regression and classifier. So same as a regression and classifier. Here we are building a machine learning model which predicts the salaries of an employee based on previous experience. We know that employees' salaries depends on various factors like skill, previous experience from the college he graduated, or many things. But in this machine learning model, we taken only the previous experience of the employee, and will predict the salary of the employee. Same, I said no. In every machine learning model, we have same thing. First we import all the modules needed. Next data set we needed, and we'll divide the data set into independent variables and dependent variables and independent variables, and we'll divide the test data set into train set and test set, and we'll import the regressor variable, and we'll predict the data set. Here I given for just visualizing how predict a training set results and test set results. It is not necessary for every machine learning model. It be for your better understanding, we provided here the visualization of the training set and test set results. Now coming to classification, in this classification module, we are going to predict fake news detector. It is called as a fake news detector. In generally nowadays, so many fake news are arising frequently, right? By using this classification module or classification template, we can predict whether the raised news is a fake news or a correct news. Here we are using two advanced, I'll not say advanced, but two different classifiers, not like a linear regressor like that. TF-IDA vectorizer. TF-IDA vectorizer is nothing but a vectorizer which divides the which creates the vectors in the fake news, and whenever these vectors arises, it will invoke that it is a fake news, or generally fake news is detected by using passive aggressive classifier. This TF-ID vectorizer means it will divide our whole news into divide into parts like that. Suppose this is our news. The advanced Python project of detecting fake news deals with fake and real news means it will divide. For this we have it will divide into this advanced Python project of detecting, like it will split the words, and each word will have a vector. A vector is assigned for each word, and will divide the whole news into vectors, and we'll keep these vectors as our data set, and we'll initialize a passive aggressive classifier. Passive aggressive classifier means if it is a real news, it will not invoke anything, means it will be passive for for good news. That means real news which are perfect, which are good. But when there is a little deviation from real news, it will be aggressive, means it will say very aggressively this is not a real news. So like this it got a name called passive aggressive classifier, means it remains passive for real news. Whenever there is a little deviation from the real news, it will be aggressive, so it got a passive aggressive classifier name. Similarly, same, first we'll import the libraries, all the libraries we need. Next, import the data set. Next, we'll divide the dependent variables, independent variables. Now in this we'll have a one more step called vectorizing the news. Next, dividing the train set and test set, and using passive aggressive classifier we'll fit the model, means we'll train the model using passive aggressive classifier. In previous model we use logistic regression model, right? Instead of that we'll use here passive aggressive classifier, and we'll predict, and after fitting, means after training the model we'll predict it by using we'll generally fit the model using dot fit model. We'll predict the model using dot predict method. Okay, after that we'll calculate the accuracy score using a method called accuracy score. Next, we'll evaluate the performance using confusion matrix. Next, the passive aggressive classifier is again a linear classifier model which can be imported from sklearn.linear model. And TF-ID vectorizer, actually vectorizer is a feature extraction method. Feature extraction means we'll extract the features from the text, right? If we have direct inputs like ages, something which is dependent, we can make directly without using vectorizers, we can make use that directly. But here we're using text, right? For every text has not that much impact what we have on numbers, so we'll create a vectors for a text. Here we're using text type so that we'll create vectors. uh, by using TF-ID vectorizer, we are going to create a vectors. This is called as feature extraction in machine learning terminology. Okay, now I explained moderate also. Now I'll explain what are the projects in Expert. Same related to pandas, matplotlib, numpy will have same thing. But coming to regression, here we are going to predict the profit of a startup. Generally, startup means will have a basic. Basically, company is divided into several wings, right? Like R&D, research and development, administration, marketing, uh, who deals with sales, and the state it which located. We'll generally see if we start a startup in Hyderabad, means we'll say we created two, means we set up a two startups at Hyderabad and Bangalore. Compared to Bangalore, Hyderabad is of low price, no? So depending on the state also, we can say the profit may vary. So these are our dependent variables. And what is our independent variable? The profit of a company. So same as this is about the project. So to make a machine learning model, same, first import the libraries, all we need, and importing the data set, and dividing independent and dependent variables. Here is label encoder. Again, label encoder is a data pre-processing step in machine learning. I'll explain what is label encoder and one-hot encoder. Actually, here R&D spend is a numerical value, right? Means how much amount spent on R&D, how much amount spent on administration, how much amount spent on marketing, how much spent on like marketing spend, how much amount spent on marketing. Here state, when comes to state, we have a text values like Hyderabad, Noida, Gurgaon, Bangalore, Chennai, like that. No, to make it into means encode it into. For suppose we have three like Hyderabad, Bangalore, three states like Hyderabad, Bangalore, and Chennai. For knowing the mission, it is a Hyderabad. We'll encode with Hyderabad with 0. For Madras, Chennai or Madras, we'll encode with 1. For Hyderabad, we'll encode with 2. Whenever in our data set Hyderabad came, we'll encode with 0. What I said previously, I forgot. We'll encode with same digit as 0 or 1 or 2 in everywhere in our data set. This is called as a label encoder. Means we are converting the labels. Means we're encoding the labels, right? So it is called as a label encoder. In our data set here x is the data set we divided, right? X in before comma refers to the number of rows. Means if we say just a colon, it refers to all columns, all rows, and after comma it refers to columns, right? Only third column. Generally in Python, we know arrays or data frame starts from 0, 0, 0, right? For R&D will get 0, administration will get 1, marketing spend will get 2, and state will get 3, right? So our state is 3. So for third column, we are going to fit and transform into our encoder, right? So we'll get whenever we did this step, we'll turn the Hyderabad, Madras, and Bangalore, wherever it is available, into 0, 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, like that. Next, we'll make the divide this means all zeros in one column, all ones in one column, all twos in one column. This is called as a one hot encoder. Means in state we'll have the values 0, 1, 2. Whenever after completing this step, column transfer step, we'll divide the single column into 3 columns. Like 0 refers for Chennai, we'll divide one column. For Hyderabad, there is a separate column, and Madras, for Bangalore, there is a separate column, right? We'll column transfer. We are transferring a column into 3 columns. This is called as column transfer, and we'll after transferring again we'll fit with previous data. And one important step we need to remember when using a column transfer method. Suppose Chennai, Bangalore, Hyderabad will have for all Chennai 0, 0, 0. Whenever Chennai erases, it will become 1, again 0, 0, 0. It is not Chennai, whether it may be Bangalore or Hyderabad. Suppose it may be Bangalore, then it is a Hyderabad become 0. Means in each company will be a row for a company at one state. Means suppose our Hebion technology is situated in Hyderabad. Suppose our Hebion technology is situated in Chennai and Bangalore. Means in each row we'll say about each office. So in first we say about Bangalore. In second we say about Hyderabad. Means each column says about only one state. Suppose these are the values like that. No, dummy variable trap means by taking these 2 columns, we can predict whether it is a Chennai, Bangalore, or Hyderabad. Suppose 0, 1, 0 means 1 refers to Bangalore, H refers to Hyderabad. Whenever 1 arises, here 1 is there, so it belongs to Bangalore. Here we will see 1. Here 1 is there means Hyderabad. When suppose take this case 0, 0, right? 0, 0 means it is not in Bangalore, it is not in Hyderabad. Then absolutely it will be Chennai, right? So we'll remove this dummy. This is this is a dummy variable right now. So we'll remove that dummy variable. So this is called in mission. This is called as a dummy variable trap. When we have these three as our columns, our machine learning model performance will decrease. So 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 we use a dummy. So we avoid a dummy variable trap by taking only two columns, the columns which are B and H. Next, again, same steps in these also. We'll split the again after doing all these steps are called as data pre-processing steps. You will according to the data set, we need to do many data pre-processing steps, and after that, after data pre-processing, we are going to split the training and test set into X train, X test, Y train, Y test, and similarly, and we are going to use multiple linear regressor to fit or to train this data set, and at last we predict the test results. Similarly, in this classification model, okay, we are going to predict a disease called Parkinson's disease. Parkinson's disease depends. It has five stages. It has five stages in it. Like we'll have cancer, like beginner stage, moderate stage, advanced stage. In Parkinson's disease is divided into five stages. It affects 1 million individuals every year in India. So it is a disease which is growing rapidly in India. So we make our machine learning model based on previous patients, means based on previous patients records. We created a data set, and now we are going to build a machine learning model which will detect the Parkinson's disease of an individual when we given the uh, what are the columns, what are the columns in the previous records. Suppose HNB column. HNB refers for hemoglobin level. RBC, WBC, means red blood cells level, white blood cells level. Like that, we'll have many columns in this data set. When we given our values of a person, we need to detect. When you give a values, it will say yes, this person has a Parkinson disease, no, or this person doesn't have a Parkinson disease. In this way, we are going to build this machine learning model. At first, we are going to again import all the models, all the models which we needed are packages, and importing the data set. And here in previous data sets, we may familiar that predicted variable means the dependent variable lies on the means situates at the end of the data set, but here it is situated in the middle of the data set. So this is a different code structure for dividing the X and Y. Features refers to X, means dependent variables. Labels refers to Y, which is an independent. Labels refers to independent variable. Features refers to the independent variable. And like previously, we scale by using a feature scaler. We scale the values now. Here again, we'll scale the values between -1 and 1 using min max scaler. And again, we split the data set into X train, X test, Y train, and Y test, and we'll fit the model using logistic regression. And at last we predict the outputs. We'll predict the output whether the person have a Parkinson's disease or not, and we'll calculate the accuracy of the model using accuracy score method previously I said. This is the basic idea how regression and classification machine learning templates looks like. Now I'll say how to do in a basic machine learning model. I'll take a machine learning model, and I'll see how to do in Google Colabs. Google Colabs will have a feature called you don't need to write the code entirely at a step. We can divide the code. So we divided the code like importing the libraries, right? So at first step we'll import the libraries. In second step we'll load the data set. In third step we'll split the data. We'll split the uh, dependent variables and independent variables, and I will divide into X train, X test, Y train, and Y test, and we'll predict the validation set, and we'll fit the model and get the predictions using the model.predict method. and we'll calculate the scores using accuracy score, confusion matrix. We'll evaluate the performance of the model, and classification report will use the whole report, means based on our validation, means based on our previous test previous values and the predicted values, how much the machine learning model has matched the performance, has matched the values. So using classification report we can get this report. Okay guys, I'm done with this. Any doubts you can ask me. You can ping a message in chat box. Shankar sir. Yes, you can select any level of project you need, but you need based on your previous experience or what you learned in this internship, you need to select your project. Means if you select if you are at basic level, you selected expert level, means you may not able to complete the project, right? There is no advantage in taking expert, right? If you are okay, in what platform should we work? It's your wish. You can do in Hebion Labs or Collabs, or if you have any local setup called Jupyter, Spider, anything, you can work on whichever platform you need. But at last, we need a result we need a result that you completed the project. But carefully, wisely select your projects based on based on your level, how much familiar with your machine learning. Being a beginner level, if you selected expert level, means you may not finish the project within the time, so that you may suffer, right? I'll discuss with my team and they'll say whether we need to share your final result or not.
Yeah. So guys, basically you select the project either today, tomorrow. Anyway, most of the skeleton and the data sets are given. So just to team up in the Excel given in your groups. So go there and then fill your name into the respective group, the particular project. Then so that similarly the people who are interested into that respective project, they will also list your name, their names, so that you can team up and start working, towards that. So that's the plan. So mainly focus on understanding the data set, and anyway, each project there is a just want to share that Excel once the project Excel. There is a link given. So in that Google share, you will find all the resources. Go to right side. Yeah, in the Google share, for each project, the data sets are there, right?
Yes, sir.
The
Yes.
Google, yeah, the data sets are already there inside. You just need to go to the drive and download that, and that is belongs to that particular project. For example, up to 2, 3, 4 is related to beginner projects. Okay, these 3 projects are related to beginner, and then 5, 6, 7 related to moderate, and 10, 11, 12 related to advanced. So it depends on your expertise. Basically, all are same. You see that most of the modules are used in all scenarios. Only the difference is the complexity between the project to project is different. And anyway, most of the guidelines are given in that data share, where there is a template, there is also data set. Can you go to one of the share folder, the beginner one?
Right, sir. I'll open it in Jupyter or Google Colab so that they can.
Yeah. So just want to show them how that project. Anyway, you are giving the template that what they need to do. So it's like filling the blanks. That the basic template model will be there. You need to write your code in between wherever the code is not filled. Can you open one of the project?
Yeah, sir. Minute.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, when you go to the drive link provided there, you'll see a three IP YNB files which can be used either in a Google Colab or in your local setup Jupyter Lab. Using IPNB files will be will open only in Google Colabs or a Jupyter local setup. Here see very easy. We'll given all the skeleton of the code is given. Whenever there is a comment called start code and end code, between the two comments you need to fill the code. It is very easy to complete a project. We'll given the skeleton of the code, dataset is given and explain everything. So you need to fill generally like fill in the blanks. You need to fill the code here. That's it.
Where is the data set?
Yeah, dataset is in Google Drive. That links.
Yeah, so that's what. So basically, the data set is already there. For example, just 1 minute. Here we are saying pd.read CSV, right?
Yeah.
Can you so
Yeah.
technically you need to import the CSV. The first comment says import CSV file into the data frame, right? So you know how to load the CSV in data frame. We have seen that. So the data set is there in the Google Drive, which is going to show you. That you try to put it into your local, or you directly read from the Google Drive somewhere else.
Yeah,
So
you need to upload a recording. Suppose now you are doing with module 1 related to pandas, matplotlib and everything. You'll have a data set called IDBI dataset. In basic expert moderate everything you can find in Google Drive. When you go to module 1, you'll see two files called IPYNB file and Microsoft Excel. This is called as a CSV file. So you at first you need to upload the CSV file into Google Colab when you're working with Google Colab, or you're working with a local Jupyter Lab. You need to set your path, current path to the module which where you have downloaded. It is very easy to set up a system in Google Colab. You need to upload the CSV file, right? Suppose now in basic module 1 you are dealing with NumPy something related, no? You need to upload this file. You see the CSV file is uploaded now. So now you can do manipulations related to this CSV file. Here you can instead of none, use pd.read CSV and called its name is IDBI, right? IDBI.csv. Simple like this. You can import the data set and do the manipulations accordingly. Yes, sir.
yeah. So basically, or you can even right click and download it into your local, and you can say that C colon, machine learning projects. There you can copy that the particular thing.
Click like this, you'll get a path. You'll copy this and you'll make a current working directory like this with this path.
Yeah, you can also do that. But only thing is, when you're doing it with the local path, you need to put a double quotes, a double slashes.
Yeah, sir.
C colon // Can you paste that? Stop that.
Yeah, in Windows environment, you are doing when you are doing, you need to, instead of a single slash, you need to use a double slash in Python. Whether you are using in a Linux, it is not in Linux. You don't need to use a double slash. In everywhere wherever single slash is situated, you need to replace with double slash. When you are working with in Windows environment, when you are working in Linux environment or Ubuntu, or Linux kernels, you no need to change any data path. You can directly copy and paste. Yes, sir, like this.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Just copy that path into the code, just so they understand better. So it's cool.
And pd.read CSV.
This is
We'll
in
do
case
this.
if you download that data set and if you put it local, then this is what you need to do. Anyway, it's no big deal, and we have plenty of examples of that. If you say how to read CSV from my local folder,
Yeah,
you get the
can get.
example. Yeah. So just do your research, just spend time, and there is instructions clearly written here, and the problem statement is given. And do you have an expected output at the bottom somewhere, anywhere in the document?
Yes, sir. For some, we have expected output. For some, varies on the mission they perform. So that.
Okay. So if anybody have any queries, you can post in the group. Then we will help you out. So go through the description. First of all, team up, guys. So team up and then try to work together as a team so that each can if you team up, then it's a matter of 1 or 2 days you can do it. So we need to complete this week. The project need to be completed by Friday, and in between we will also get in touch again in the Wednesday evening, same time, to just understand how things are going. Any particular meanwhile, if there is any issues, you try to post. We'll collect all the queries and then we'll try to address those on Wednesday, and then Friday we'll again connect as per the schedule. To 12th we have a class. We'll be having a 6 o'clock to 7:15, and then on 14th again we'll have. So we are 12th we are going to clarify the doubts based on what we receive today and tomorrow, and then 14th we'll review your project submissions, and if there is any issues we'll try to help you out. But submit them by Thursday, so we'll get back on Friday. And Saturday you can upload the projects into Google Drive and share your link. So we'll try to verify and evaluate and conclude. Then based on that, we are going to ensure the certification next week. There will be some MCQ exams. So in Python we have given some, and similarly data science also will have some. Try to clear all those. Then that is where we will issue the internship certification. Now only one project, guys. Only one project. Out of all that, you just select one project as a group. So one project again can be taken from since you people are from different colleges, it doesn't matter. You can basically as many as possible. You can take one, whatever the project you want. Not all projects. We are not going to make the groups. It is just simple. I have given the simple Excel template, right? You go to that template and you fill your name, whatever the project that you are interested in, you type your name. Do not erase other people's name. You just type your name and the next person will add their name, like 1, 2, 3 bullet points, in the group. So you try to follow that sequence and insert your name. We have given shared groups, right? There is a document where you can share, isn't it? So fill the name there and then you know who is interested in which project. How will you do the thing? So I think we have posted everything in the group. Looks like you did not see it. Let me show you something. There is a Google document is shared, right? So let me show you an example. So take this as example, okay? So a Bangalore team, you have given a separate group, and there is a separate URL, and another is APN Telangana. That team has a different URL. So for example, some people have selected. So why did they people? So this is 3 different projects, okay? team members. So basically, what you need to do, this is a little bit of wrong. Team members try to divide for each project. For example, this is one project, right? I want to, so this is kind of merged. Remove that and try to regroup that. We want like a team of, we want team members for each project, not for each category. That means you have to do 3 projects. So here, I think these people have selected this group, but I think it's better. Let's change this format. Okay. So give me 1 second. Let me do this. I don't want this. Instead, how do you make this as independent? We don't want to merge them. So now this list of people, I don't know, like which project you want to select. I have no idea. So all of you, so this is like I just put you everybody here, but you can come out from that and select. Okay. My intention towards that is you need to go into one of this project, not as a together. So now what you will do, typically, so go back and then just get into one of the box, not all. Okay. So I don't want you to get into all of them. Just one of the box. To do that much. So you understood, right, what I mean? So mainly go into one of the. So these people you can go back to that. If you want to be here, if you want to be here. So get into one of the project, not by group. Yeah. So that's it. That's all we want. Similarly, in the Bangalore group, you understood, right? Same thing. You type your name into one of the projects so that you will see your team members. So these people have entered here, but may not be all looking for this project. Instead, some can go to this one, some can go to this one. That's the plan. So later after this, not now. So once I am closing, so go back to that and then type your name and then team up and start working on the project. Is it clear, guys? So that's all for today then. So you just need to go with your particular, project and then start working with the team members. Okay, any questions? No more questions?
They are asking 14th is the last date for project submission.
Okay, what happened? 14th is the last date for the project submission. Yes. Yeah, you have. So do you guys want more time or what? If you want more time, then we will give you more time. So when you want, up to how many days you want? Okay, enough. Okay, how many days? Yeah, I understood you need more time. How many days? Okay, so then can we catch up on, so till 22nd is okay? Yeah, 21st, Friday. Okay, so meanwhile, if anybody have issues, you try to do one thing. You go here and say remarks, okay? The respective team, you try to write your remarks here as a collaboratively, not every person bombarding the remarks. No, not that's not. You team up, then all together. If you can't solve the problem, if you still have a doubt from the team, then all of you together come out with remarks and write here in the each project related. We'll look at that remarks and then we'll respond to that particular team. Okay. From here till next week, it's only team-wise, communication, no individual communication. You understood? So team-wise, we want to one representative from each team to take the lead, and then the person is going to write the remarks. Then we are going to get back with that, all the issues that you come across or the doubt clarification, whatever you need, and we write, our solution here. So this is the plan. Sinduja, try to update these columns and format this like this in the same thing in the other. There is one more Google group, right, for Bengaluru. So let's do the same thing for that. Jashwant, not sure if Sinduja is there. So you try to. There is one more group she has given to Bengaluru.
Yeah,
So
sir.
just
I'll do it.
okay, so these two columns will, mainly your problem or your remarks or your doubts will come here into the respective, based on the respective project. And we are going to respond from here. That's the, communication between us till you complete the project. So fair enough, that's all. Anything more? Where is this chat box? So instead of the class, we will be attending to your queries from the team. Okay, no class from tomorrow. You try to spend your time and research and start working on it. And then as required, we are going to schedule the class for the particular group meeting, and we'll try to explain and help. Is it clear, guys? So instead of the class, based on their doubts and whatever the clarification you need, so you are going to write it into the particular project. For that team, we will schedule the meeting or we'll try to clarify and all that. Okay. So any other questions? So there is no procedure or such. This basically once you complete that project, you will get the output. So you copy that file into .python, like copy that entire code into project, your project name .py, and you place it into Google Drive and share the link. Or from your team, you try to maintain that Excel anyway. So try to zip that all of your output into one particular folder and link that folder into the particular section. Like let me put one more thing here. Project submission link. So you put your link by team. That's all. Anything more? Yes. So either you can say first of all, you guys team up, try to put your all of your efforts to go forward. Anyway, you are not starting your project from zero, right? We have given the skeleton, and pretty much you can able to take that that direction and then go with that. If there is any people, if any team is really struggling to do something, then we'll give you a sample project to follow. Sorry. Then after that, if you still have a problem, then we'll connect to that particular group through the Zoom, and we'll try to explain. We'll try to give you some key points to solve and go forward. Clear? No, it is not based on the difficulty level. We just put a category, then we are going to certify that. It's nothing to do with the difficulty level. We are going to put the project which you have chosen into your certification, and we'll tell you, we'll say that your internship is completed in this period. So try to make it like a real project. Don't simply come out with the code and say that you are done. Instead, you think like beautify the abstract a little more nicely, and clearly define the problem statement, and clearly define the inputs, clearly define the output, and take the pictures from the input and output as well, and try to decorate it nicely like a project. Do that. Try to use that all the documentation tricks moderately, nicely do it. Do some more research, understand and what are the libraries used and why those are used. Remember, I told you very simply, blindly, machine learning is all about converting a machine to behave like what? To behave like anyone? Yes, to behave like a human. It's all simple. So far, the machines are like machines. Purely, it was doing the job that you are trying to instruct. Now we are trying to make the machines like a human. Simple. That is like artificial intelligence is nothing more than converting a machine to act like a human. For that, one is you are going to depend the. So how do you take for example, the self-driving car in the in the road in the street? How is it going very carefully, nicely? Because of the all the data is dumped. It knows like every point, every intersection, every dot, so that it is going to go through that the coordinates, and it is not going to deviate. If the coordinates is wrong, then it will for sure it will make a mistake, right? So maybe you can write more like if the road is not clear, and the sensors are used, right? The IoT is got famous because of the AI, like machine learning based on the instruction given by a human, also based on the instructions which are coming from the sensors. For example, we automated the car with all the instruction given from one place to another. But all of the sudden, due to rain or XYZ, the road is broken yesterday. Okay, but at the time when we configured the data, it was very clear the automated car supposed to go well. But 2 days before or 1 day before, the road is broken. Okay, so which is the data is not in there in the car. So obviously the car will continue and it will just collapse. But because of that, the sensors are built so that now the sensor will pick up and understand, oh, the road is broken, right? Because of that, IoT got famous. So now thing is, you need to really understand how these data sets are used. Then what are the libraries used, and then how these predictions are basically mainly placed. I think you well practiced about data science. Now you also need to understand deeply about the predictions, the training the data, testing the data, and all that. We'll try to come back with all the questions. We'll see what kind of questions you get. Then we'll come back and talk about what about communication with our teams. Yeah, so this is our communication channel. This Excel is our communication channel. We try to monitor this, remarks and issues here. If whichever the team comes out with issues or remarks or need help, so we'll contact them, that particular team, and then we'll try to schedule, either through instructions given from the WhatsApp or or we will schedule a meeting and talk to you, or we'll try to work it out. Okay, communication could not be a problem. So mainly, this is the bridge between you and us. Okay. So you people and us, this is the bridge that we are going to communicate through this one. Is it clear? Okay, let me see the chat group. Yeah, videos will be all the till yesterday, whatever the videos are outstanding, it is placed. Okay, if you go here, even today also I placed one here. This particular thing in both in the workshops. If you go there, there is like Matplotlib trainer video, which is Jashwant has explained all the libraries used, that you can see it now. Okay, this one using Collabs. Okay, so you can also go there and you can go through that particular video to understand how it works and all that. Beyond that, today's video also will upload, and you have all the access. First, spend time. Okay, don't get scared of these projects right away. You first go there and slowly, happily, settle down, pick a project very nicely, then start working on it. You have all the tools. You can do it in Hebian, or you can do it in Jupyter, or you can do it in Google. And the skeleton project is given, so, template is given. We'll also give you one sample project if required. So no issues. Okay, just be confident and start doing it. Okay, that's all, guys. All the best with your project. Do not simply do what you generally in colleges people how you submit because of somebody is asking, putting a lot of pressure, like HODs or faculties asking you to do. Then you somehow copy here and there, do all this just overnight and submit. So today you don't know, without the project development experience, will call you for interview also. Understood? So it's better you go and spend time and enjoy the project work. Okay, that's all today. I don't know, it's all about today's session, and we'll continue to catch up in offline as required by team. Good luck, guys. Thank you.